Instruments. Prevalant instruments. Part 1.
Welcome to the lecture series on Carnatic music. In this session, we shall discuss about the Carnatic musical instruments that are most widely used presently. The list of instruments given below comes under this category:
Veena, violin, tambura, flute, nagaswaram, harmonium, mridangam, gotuvadyam, ghatam, ganjira, tawil, mursing. In this session, we will discuss about the instrument veena under the following headings: early references, iconography, construction, posture and technique of play, and process of fretting the veena. The veena. Veena is a classical instrument belonging to the stringed variety. This instrument has steered its way through complex stages before reaching the present status. Beginning with harp stage, it has passed through many stages like the lute stage, veenas with movable frets, and veenas with fixed frets. Early references. The veena as a traditional musical instrument goes back to hoary antiquity. References to it can be found in the Rig Veda, and by the time of Yajurveda, it had already begun to occupy a respectable position. The Yajurveda refers to the playing of the veena and holds that sacrificial rites have no efficacy unless two Brahmins play upon the veena in a concert with a third Brahmin singing. In general sense, the name veena was intended to refer to any musical instrument producing sound by vibrating one or many strings. The ancient treatises in music such as Bharata's Natya Shastra and Narada's Sangeet Makaranta refer to veenas with 1, 2 or 3 strings and with vibrating bodies or bowls made of metals, wood or earth covered with leather. There are numerous mythological anecdotes about veena. It is stated to have been evolved by Lord Shiva, who is himself of the nature of Nada Brahma. The name of Rudra Veena probably refers to this story. The veena is said to be played by goddess Saraswati, and hence the name Veena. Narada, Tumburu and Vishwavasu also played on the veena. The Mayuri is a veena with peacock's head. Reference to this is found in Kalidasa's Malavikagnimitra. The veena is considered as the queen of musical instruments. Iconography. We find representation of veena in sculptures and paintings, terracotta figures, and coins in various parts of India. Variations of the harp veena are found in sculptures of Sanchi, Boja, and Barhut, 2nd to 1st century BC, Amravati up to 100 AD, Nagarjunakonda 100 to 300 AD, Modhara 100 AD. Also in Samudragupta's coins 300 to 700 AD and terracotta figures. The zither type of veena, which is the forerunner of the later Mattakokila or Swarnamandala of the medieval period with 21 strings, is found in the Sanchi Museum, 1st century BC. The lute type of veena is represented in Amaravati, Nagarjunakonda, Pavaya Gupta period, Ajanta painting 300 to 500 AD. A slight variation of this type is found in Pattakadai temple 10 AD. These varieties are plucked by the right hand and played with the left hand. Sculptures of this type with a half or full god are found in Ajanta, Badami 600 AD and Ellora 700 to 1000 AD. This is represented with or without a kana or spectrum. In Dilwara temple, there are two varieties of one stringed veena with one god at the upper end or with two gods at the bottom ends of the stick. This type of veena is also found in the sculptures of goddess Saraswati of the Pala period 700 AD. Manikavachakar 700 AD refers to the coexistence of this fretted lute veena and the fretless harp veena. Construction. The veena consists of a large pear-shaped bowl called the kai or kudam. It is hollowed out of a single block of wood. The Tanjore manufacturers use jackwood and the Mysore manufacturers use blackwood for this purpose. The wood is obtained from a tree that is at least 50 years old. The wood is exposed to sun and rain and preserved for a long time. Portions are scooped out at long intervals till the required shape is gained. This pot or kudam can be of different sizes. This hollow pot is then covered on top by a thin flat covering made of the same wood and fixed to the lower portion by pin-like nails. The diameter of the top varies according to the diameter of the kudam, usually 10 inches to 12 inches. Deeper the kudam, louder will be the sound. The bridge, also made of wood, is placed almost at the center of the covered top of the kudam. There are a number of tiny holes on the top plank close to the bridge. These holes help in transmission of sound vibrations from the resonating body. Bridge. This is made with meticulous care. The bridge, made of wood, is in the shape of an arch. On top of this wooden bridge is glued a rectangular plate made of bronze. Atop the wooden bridge and adjacent to the longer side of the metallic plate, there is a strip of wood with 4 grooves for the 4 strings to pass through. A small arc-shaped metal bridge is attached to the main bridge. The 3 tala strings pass through this side bridge. Dandi. The dandi of the veena is made of the same wood as the bowl or kudam. A projection separates the stem of the dandi from the kudam. The stem is also hollow. The neck is attached to the dandi with ornamental joints made of ivory. The dandi curves down, ending in a yali mukha or dragon head. On the other side of the stem, near the neck of the veena, is an additional resonator made of hollow gourd. This also forms a rest for the veena. This gourd is easily detachable and is fixed to a cup or socket by means of a nut and screw. The gourd resonator has a hole cut out at the bottom. Frets. The frets are made of bell metal, brass, bronze or silver. Frets are small cylindrical rods about 1.5 or 2 inches long and 1/6 of an inch thick. They are fixed on a wax base which runs along the dandi. This wax base could be gently heated to position the frets in their correct pitch position. A total of 24 frets give rise to 3.5 octaves. Tuning pegs. 4 pegs are placed, 2 on either side of the neck for the 4 main strings. The pegs for the side strings are placed on the side of the stem near the player. Strings. There are 7 strings in a veena, 4 main strings for playing music and 3 side strings for sounding the drone notes and keeping the time. The 4 main strings are tuned from the player's side outwards to Madhyasthai Shadjam, Mandarasthai Panchamam, Mandarasthai Shadjam and Anumandarasthai Panchamam. They are called Sarani, Panchama, Mandram and Anumandram respectively. The Anumandram and Mandram are copper wound steel strings, while the other 2 are steel strings. The side strings are all made of steel. These pass over the side bridge and then over small ivory pegs on the side of the stem and are fastened to the 3 pegs on the sides. They are called Pakkasarani, Pakkapanchama and Hechusarani and are tuned to Madhyasthai Shadja, Madhyasthai Panchama and Taras Shadja. Langurs. At the bowl end, the strings are tied to metallic fastenings called langurs. Small metallic rings gliding over these langurs help in accurate tuning. These langurs are attached to the kudam at one end through an attachment called Nagapasam. The Nagapasam is a small projection from the kudam with holes through which the langurs pass through, and it serves to fix the langurs onto the kudam. The other ends of the langur are attached to the 7 strings which pass through the grooves on the bridge and which in turn are fastened to the 7 tuning pegs. Posture and technique of play. The veena is held in a horizontal position or sayana position across the player's knee. Sometimes the instrument is held in a vertically oblique position or urdhva, the bowl resting on the thigh. The oblique posture is the one mentioned in Sangeeta Ratnakara and other ancient treatises. This posture is virtually non-existent in the South, though it is probably the oldest and found represented in many sculptures. The index and the middle fingers of the left hand are used to manipulate the strings over the frets, and the same fingers of the right hand are used for plucking the strings. The ring finger or the little finger of this hand is used to strike the side strings. There are 3 methods of striking the strings. Gottu meettu. This is the simple plucking of the string. Kurameet, where the string is first plucked with the forefinger and then again with the second finger so as to produce a double sound or janta as it is so called. In another variety, the string is struck with the forefinger and the vibration is stopped with the second finger. so as to produce a staccato sound. This corresponds to the etophy and is called tatameet. There are also special methods in left-hand fingering. In the arohana or ascending movement, both the fingers are used and are kept together. In the avarohana or descent, the index finger alone is used. In certain schools of play, the two fingers are used alternatively, enabling a very high speed of manipulation of notes. Jantaswara are played in the following manner. The middle finger is placed in the required position, the index finger on the fret of the lower note. With both fingers in such position, the string is plucked once. Then, before striking the string a second time, the middle finger is lifted and replaced with rapidity. By this method, a trace of the immediately preceding note is also heard. For example, the swaras sa-sa will be heard as sa-ni-sa and ni being very short and faint. In the second method, the forefinger is used for the first swara, and for producing the second swara, the forefinger is drawn back to the fret behind and the middle finger comes in its place. The backward movement of the forefinger gives a stress on the second swara by lightly touching on the lower note. This is a more refined way of playing the jantaswaras. A special effect called rava is produced by striking the next note with the middle finger while the forefinger is on the lower note. The string is deflected at times to raise the frequency, and this is referred to as reku. These are a few techniques employed in veena playing. There are many more, and with mastery, many special and varied effects like the cooing of the koel, reverberations of thunder, etc. can be produced on the veena. Some great exponents like Venkatramana Das played on all the four strings simultaneously. Process of fretting the veena. The present day veena with fixed frets was invented by Govinda Dikshitar of 17th century, father of Venkatamaki. It is not possible to precisely point out when the frets appeared on a veena. According to Swami Pragyananda, the veena that used to accompany chants during the Vedic period had two frets, and along with the open string, these produced the notes Uddata, Anuddata and Swarita. Veena with frets has been depicted in the sculptures of various periods. However, these frets were tied on the veena dandi with guts. It was Govinda Dikshitar who permanently fixed the frets on wax. The veena has undergone a lot of developmental changes before reaching the present stage of 24-fretted veena. No specific rules are laid down for fretting the veena. Since our music is based on just intonation, the frets are fixed by ear, based on a trial and error method. The capacity of distinguishing the shruti along with concentration and sharpness in hearing the distinction between, say, ekashruti and dvishruti is very important for veena fretting. A good quality of beeswax and charcoal powder are mixed proportionately. The charcoal has to be first powdered and filtered through a thin cloth. It is then mixed with beeswax and melted. This molten mixture is then poured into a bucket of pure water. The sediments settle down and pure wax floats on top of the water in the form of a plate. It is then taken out and wiped with cloth. This wax is then used for fixing the frets. Just prior to setting the frets, the wax is exposed to sunlight so that it becomes soft. Before fixing, the frets are cleaned with sandpaper. The frets are to be checked for any blemishes, scars or cuts, and these have to be rectified before they are fixed. Frets are available with or without legs in brass, bronze, gunmetal and even stainless steel. The following important factors are also to be noted before setting to fret the veena. The veena should be provided with a new set of strings with requisite gauge number. They should be tuned to the correct pitch and tension. The gradual slope of wax should be examined so that the frets of higher frequency notes do not touch the vibrating string when the frets of the lower frequency notes are played. When a fret is fixed, its corresponding lower octave note should be checked. After each fret is placed, strings of the veena should be retuned.
Hope we had an elaborate discussion on the instrument veena. Therefore, it can be understood that veena is a complete instrument and provides the basic components. Its main attraction is the placid tonal quality which is capable of evoking a pleasant atmosphere. On account of its multiple inimitable features, the veena suitably holds a prime position among the Indian instruments. In the next session, we shall discuss about another new instrument. Thank you.